Sonic Fox just blocking, spends all the meter,
More plus.
just plus, and oh, Sonic waiting for the right time. Oh man, and this is just wonderful
Overhead.
play.
Here's the combo.
This is wonderful play from
One
Peanut.
more mix-up in the game. Sonic Fox has no bar. He has no bar. No,
and
nothing
the
for
mix.
breaker.
This
He's
is gonna be over.
He's
This
dead.
is over, and Lord Peanut
Switch the camera.
sends Sonic Fox to losers. Chaotic Ominous rushing to the stage. Lord Peanut. Yeah.
My loyal fans!
Hey, hey.
任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
This vid is a bit unique. We're going to another Western game, but one that covers IPs instead of having their own. When you think about over-the-top grapplers, you tend to think about tag fighters, but in this video I want to explore an NRS game, as you may already know from the title. What's up fellas, Patriarch Panda here, and I hope you guys are doing well as we head into another Grappler deep dive, and I hope you guys enjoyed the new intro. I'm trying to make the production a bit better here on the Grab series, so I hope you guys have been enjoying. And the last vid on General RAM was pretty fun to make. It was genuinely a class time, and I hope you guys are looking forward to this one. And be sure to tell me what grapplers you want me to cover. As always, I'm open to suggestions. I did see an overwhelming amount of support for this character, so I want to cover him as it was someone I did also play, so we're back into the comfort zone, but it's going to be unique and fun. This is different from your usual 1v1 2D fighter. Let me remind you guys what a grappler does. A grappler's main goal is to open up his opponent by doing a strike throw 50-50. They usually sacrifice having good neutral or some type of approach to. They tend to have a pretty horrible experience trying to play the game until they eventually get in to run their offense. I think that's the standard at this point, so let me bring you into the game. That way we have an avenue to talk about the Grappler. And for someone who already knows about the game and all that, I recommend using the chapter system as always. But let's get into the game that turned Superman evil and justice gods among us.
Alright, maybe not so.
Injustice was made by NetherRealm Studios, who are the same fellas who made the demonetized game. This game took Mortal Kombat and made it a bit more chaotic with the DC universe. The game is a 2D hyper fighter with a ton of mechanics to have fun with. In hindsight, the game was actually pretty fun, but with a lot of clear flaws with its gameplay. For example, the characters had a ton of depth, and I would say that they're actually really varied and cleverly put together. The game had a huge competition problem. So if you guys haven't heard of pig meta, yeah, so that was kind of the state of the game. It was pretty brutal to play. I didn't see a lot of people wanting to play this game competitively back then. Don't get me wrong, people did. But it wasn't to the extent of like Smash Bros or something like that. Not everybody was looking forward to playing Injustice. But yeah, let's get into it. In terms of the base game mechanics, it was actually pretty simple. The main mechanics for the game features attack strings or target combos for the Street Fighter community. You can also special cancel some of these strings, and it's quite strong what you can pull up. Some can't be special cancelled, so you had to lab this to understand what strings to use to get your combos or to get your mix-ups. Your health bar works like it does in Killer Instinct, where you get 2 health bars instead of a round system. You have a bar at the bottom, and this is basically your meter system where you got 4 bars to max out. You can use 1 bar to either push back people on block or to meter burn a special. You can also burn 2 bars of meter to do an enhanced version of your back heavy or your forward heavy, to do some pretty nasty overheads or maybe have some armor attached to it. One thing that you can do with your 4 bars of meter is gain access to an invulnerable super that let you kinda cash out for a ton of damage, and for some characters this was super strong, and for a lot it wasn't really worth mentioning. And then you'll notice these 2 wee bars at the top, and that is your interactive meter. This made it so you can interact with the things in the background, and from what you remember about pig meta, This was interesting. Some characters gained access to jumping about the map because of it, and some characters gained access to unique throws. Some characters could throw the backgrounds where others would jump off of it. There was a lot of uniqueness based upon your character. For example, Superman, the strongest man in the world, could pick up this and toss it, where Batman, smart, calculated, but not as strong as Superman, uses it to jump about and be athletic. So it was a cool idea, but again, as you saw from Pigmenta, this was a genuine thing. When you got to the Arkham stage, this was GG's, because the interactables are unblockable, by the way. You can't block this. You can't approach. It's GG's, brother. You got stuck in the corner of Pigmenta, bro. One thing the game also had was kind of a burst mechanic. When you got down to your red health and you were being hit, you can activate the Clash, which made it so that you would break away from your opponent. You do this cool animation where you wager your meter, and whoever paid the most amount of meter will actually win the wager, and all it really does is that it gives the winner a massive health boost. So it was your choice. Whenever you popped your burst-like mechanic, you had the option to ask your opponent, do you want to give up your meter, or do you want me to get a health boost? This was a very interesting question that was always worth throwing out there. You'll notice here on Batman and Superman that there's actually a unique meter attached to their character, and that was your character power. If you press your power button, which for me it's the A button, I'm a pad player. Yippee. You press this button, you'd activate your character power, and depending on your character, it did many different things. For Batman, it summons these little bat droids that can be sent out if you pressed it again. Superman becomes red, I'm assuming this buffs his lasers, but I wouldn't know because I didn't play him, and I'm not going to train with him, and I'm not going to research him. This isn't about him, despite the fact that I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Peak movie. No, we're not talking about you, Superman. Get over yourself. Character power, we'll get into that later. In terms of the base game mechanics, that's about it. The main thing that made this game crazy wasn't really the mechanics, it was what the characters did with the mechanics. But it's time for the zombie king himself, Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday.
Solomon Grundy is the zombie of DC that was resurrected. He originally went by Cyrus Gold, and he was killed with his body parts being spread all over a swamp. The swamp named Slaughter Swamp. So creative, guys. Brought him back to life, and he took on the name Solomon Grundy, after the nursery rhyme, of course. He became a minor villain in the Green Lantern and Batman series. Solomon Grundy's height was 9'2". That guy wasn't getting through your front door, man. He had to bust his way through. Grundy had superhuman strength because of the resurrection, allowing him to take on demigods like Wonder Woman. And he also had the power of regeneration, so best luck trying to kill the unkillable. Neat fact about Solomon Grundy in this game, he is the heaviest character in the game, which is saying something considering Bane's also in the game. And I believe he's bigger than Solomon Grundy. That makes sense though, you know, dead guy's way heavier, so Solomon Grundy, it just makes sense for the fella. In the same game as Bane, how did Solomon Grundy gain fame and be unique with his name? This game, Bane was a bit more of a savage gorilla that was looking forward to his next victim, you know, type of ooh-ooh-ah-ah mentality. He would just sort of run forward with armor and just keep grabbing. Solomon Grundy is a Braindead setplay grappler, which I'm going to be honest, despite the title, I'll admit I'm lying to you. I just thought it made sense because he was a zombie. Yeah, he's a setplay grappler that does a ton of setplay to make his throws scary. We'll get into that later, don't you worry. Let's get into what made him weak, because his weaknesses didn't hold him back that hard compared to someone like Raiden or like Tizok or Iron Tiger. Main weakness to mention for sure, and it's a classic, and I dread having to say it every time.
Say the line!
Panda is really big and slow. Despite the dash speed in these games being insane, Zoners did very well against his character, meaning approaching characters like Sinestro was murder. Also, this is an NRS studio game. That meant zoners were cracked up. If you guys have seen anything about MK1 with Peacemaker, you guys know all about how zoners can be in these games, man. It's ridiculous. The next problem was matchups, and this was a huge one as Solomon Grundy didn't really do well against a lot of the Grappler archetype versus matchups, you know, like Grappler versus the little guy, Grappler versus the zoner, Grappler versus the bruiser. You know, that type of stuff. He didn't do too hot in those matchups. He had to go against someone like Doomsday who had armor. The interactions were weird. You'd both armor, but the person who recovers first would win in that situation, because armor was pretty long lasting in that game. So you both doing armor too, and whoever recovered first sort of won the interaction, and Doomsday hits like a goddamn truck. So that was a problem for Solomon Grundy, as if he was wrong, it could cost him. It could genuinely cost him the game. And of course, when it comes to zoners, you know, characters like Sinestro or even Zod with his little pew pew cannon, that gave Solomon Grundy a difficult time. He had to get in on those characters, and always the zoner is an evil creature that deserves to be put down. Not my thoughts, that's Solomon Grundy's, alright? Don't get them twisted. When it comes to the big guy, little guy, aka Flash versus Solomon Grundy, big versus slow, it didn't go too well there either. Basically, when it came to Solomon Grundy's tool, the fastest tool he had was an 8-framer, and I don't even think it was a mash tool, and if it is, then you're seeing the footage right now. The fastest attack on Flash was a 3-framer, and 5-framers if it's a normal attack, so it meant that in terms of defense and offense, there was a massive skew in terms of risk reward and who's going to get out a lot of the time. It made it difficult for him to defend, and it also meant that if Solomon Grundy was wrong with a play against a fast character, would you believe it, he got in and killed him. In this game, also had the next big weakness. The character didn't have varied health. There's no varied health in this game. There's no like, oh, Zangief's more tanky, oh, and Potemkin's more tanky. In this game, it was everyone had the exact same health, like Killer Instinct, except Killer Instinct had unique mechanics like the Instinct meter to kind of match up. And this game did something very similar, but Killer Instinct had so many avenues to escape, like the combo breaker mechanics, whereas this, you didn't get that until you got to your second health bar. But I would say, because of the matchup problem, it was kind of cool. It added character to him. I'm kind of happy I had this weakness, because the whole big guy versus little guy, big slow versus the zoner or the brawler battles, it was kind of cool. It added character, added personality to those players, because they had the matchups that you can identify and kind of have fun with. It was frustrating to play, but again, there was a ton of character being put on display. And I just find it insane that characters didn't have varied health, because someone who was supposed to be squishy and fast compared to someone who's supposed to be unkillable and regenerates having the same health is ridiculous to me. Let's talk about the positives. What made them unique, right? What made them unique? What made them cool? Well, dear viewer, let me tell you 2 aspects that made them insanely unique compared to every other grappler. And the first one to mention is his command grab. It's a chain throw, and the chain throw had 3 different outcomes that were very interesting and worth noting. One would boost your defense, making chip damage basically non-existent, so if you're fighting someone like Sinestro, this is a good pick. And as we know, this is an NRS game, meaning chip damage on block is insanely high. You'll take chip damage on normal attacks in these games, unlike every other fighting game where it's just special moves. The other chain throw boosts your defense. This makes Solomon Grundy more tanky, like you'd expect from a big body grappler. And the last one buffs the damage you do by a ton, making the same chain throw do this type of damage. I thought this was cool because depending on the matchup, it meant that you'd pick different chains. So for example, if you fought Sinestro, maybe less chip damage on block, you know, you need that for that matchup. Against characters who you know you're going to get more hits, buffing the damage is a good shout. And when you're up against characters that are maybe going to get more hits on you, buffing your natural defense is a shout. So there was a lot of good calculated decisions that you had to make for your chain throw, and they all had such cool animations as well, like Tombstone, my god. This was cool and unique because first off, 2D grapplers do not get chain throws. This is very rare, very uncommon. There are times where you'll see it for sure, but it's not that common that you'll see it in a fighting game for 2D fighters specifically. And secondly, the thing that made it awesome was the fact that you could pick it for your matchup, like I said earlier. I think that's really cool. I think that adds variation to your gameplay, and it makes them very unique in that type of sense, where it's like, okay, you have ways to buff yourself, so you can go with the natural grappler gameplay, become big and strong, or you can kind of like pick what you want against certain characters, and I'm a fan of this. I'm a big fan of this. There's a ton of variation and uniqueness to the style. Also, one more insane detail worth noting is that you can combo into this, bro. That's right, you can combo into it. That means every combo hit is an opportunity to stack up. That means the normal hits can be confirmed into this command grab, which is so good because if you play any other fighting game, you'll know what it's like to land a couple of jabs and then go for a throw and then it whiffs because you're 2+. Now here, it combos. I love it. What else makes them unique? Again, we've seen chain throws before. This isn't unique. King does it. That's a 3D fighter. Beowulf does it. That's a 2D fighter. Plus, He's totally getting his own video at some point. I'm a big fan of Beowulf. I think he's sick as hell. I just don't know how to approach the video, and I want to make it perfect. So like, I'm sorry about that. I would totally do it right now if I could, but I just... give me time. Give me time. So what made them stand out besides this chain throw? Because is that it? Is that the main reason? There's more. There's the set play part, which I neglected to mention. He had two set play tools. The first one was this full screen load that would track the opponent's location called Swamp Hands that hit the opponent's shins. This was a pretty good load to represent. As you know, in neutral, the opponent's more likely to walk back and forth to decide what they're going to do. If you can catch them with the Swamp Hands, you get knocked down and you're able to approach. But the main thing that makes it a set play tool was the meter burn version. This would grab the opponent's legs, holding the opponent still for Solomon Grundy to rush up and get a command grab throw. That is right, he had a full screen load that held the opponent still for Solomon Grundy to do whatever the hell he wanted. So that was the first set play tool that was pretty strong, and also was armored on meter burn, forgot to mention that. He had another one, and that was this, where he cut himself open letting out gas. This tool is gross, but strong. The rock coming from his body would allow him to do poison damage over time if the opponent was near him. So if he was doing a combo, this would deal a lot more. Or if he's just running offense, this would deal damage over time. Or if he's just standing next to the opponent. And I know what you're thinking. You're seeing this and going like, this is crap. This is just a bad tool. Like, how are you going to use this on a character that doesn't really have long block strings, doesn't really have long combos? Like, what are you going to do? It doesn't work on iframes, so... What's the point here? Why are we doing this too? I neglected to mention something, and that was it does go over iframes, and this includes throwing the opponent. And how long was that animation again for his damage throw? What was it, like 4 seconds?
Solomon Grundy! Born on a Monday! Christened on Tuesday! Buried on Wednesday!
Yeah, if you had this raw applied and did a command grab, this would deal damage over time, and the damage would be ridiculous. Look at it! Look at it, he hurts! He hurts a lot, he does a ton of damage. Text during throw animations, and as you saw, that throw is very long, it does a ton of damage. Mix that with poison, or hell, even the meter burn version of it, you'll deal so much damage, it's not even funny. That tells you right there and then, Solomon Grundy had multiple ways to set play and do grappler game plans. And the way they do the set play is so clever. I absolutely love it. What does a grappler want? He wants knockdown. What does a grappler want? He wants to throw. Okay, so the set play is meter burn load that holds the opponent or knocks them down. Genius. Or another set play tool that makes it so they deal damage if they're close to the grappler. Oh, what's he doing when he's throwing? They're close to the grappler. I mean, he's literally like so close to you, you could probably bite off your I was a little overboard. But point being is that he does so much goddamn damage. This is set play done insanely well for a grappler. A grappler wants to do these things. He doesn't want set play zoning. He doesn't want set play offense where it's like, oh, set projectile, do high low. He wants to do throw and the set play doing the rest of the work in terms of damage. This is insanely smart, and I feel like this is a good approach to a set play grappler. This is the main thing that made them cool and unique. The rest are just positives that made them kind of decent in this game, but you're seeing the pieces fit together. The puzzle is almost being complete. Despite the title calling him a Braindead grappler, I wouldn't say he is. I think he takes a lot of good knowledge to actually win in your matchups. It's like, oh, I need to understand when to go for throw. I need to understand what throw chain I want. Oh, I need to understand when's a good time to let out the raw. Oh, I need to understand when's a good time to send out the low. You had to think about these options, you really did. So despite the fact that Bane's a calculated genius and plays like a stupid gorilla, why is the brain-dead zombie playing like a goddamn genius? This is bro's Albert Einstein with the offense he's setting up. It's a unique take on a set play grappler. I think it's smart, and I think it's something that should be explored more. When it comes to neutral, there wasn't much to mention. When it came to high level neutral, this is all I kept finding, and basically it was just a grappler just throwing out armor tools and throwing out the low. That was it. In terms of neutral, he's not all that. This is the brain dead part for sure. This is it. You found it. There may be an occasional dash up, again watching professional gameplay, it's literally just this. In terms of offense, he did have nasty tools like his backlight, which was an overhead that stunned the opponent on hit, allowing for a reset opportunity into command grab. As you know, when you play a grappler, that's all you want. Plus frameage, whoo, you can do a ton with that. He also had an amazing low string that would let him start offense, known as Born on a Monday. It was -5 on block if he did the full string, but the main thing that made it good was his low overhead and a throw opportunity was represented. And he also had the same thing off of his backlight stars. Nice lows to represent. That is about it. He was cool and unique for sure, but he was rated really lowly, like one of the most mid-low or low-rated characters for sure. A lot of people putting him in the C rank, or basically in the rank of, yeah, he's playable, but why? So he wasn't that strong of a character, so you gotta ask yourself, who are the peeps that made them work? As you can see here, the players are talented. Players like Tyrant, T3000, yeah, they put on a good show with the character for sure, man. And just like that, it was pretty cool to see this character be piloted at a pretty high level, but sadly, as we know, he didn't get his shine that much due to being so weak. A lot of people, if they want to play a strong character that was a big body, would pick Doomsday any day, as he would have armor and a lot of good ways to get in. But Solomon Grundy was super unique, as he was a character that was a set play grappler, and probably one of the coolest designs for sheer offense. But in terms of his neutral game plan, he wasn't that unique. His neutral game plan is the same as most grapplers, even to today's standard, which is throw out armor and run offense. Like, that's about it. The only unique part about Grundy was the offense and how cool it was with the set play and a lot of calculated thoughts it was on the offense itself. It's just the neutral. It was an NRS game, so the only option was to give him armor because, as we know, that game is insane. Yeah, fellas, that'll be it for today's video. That's me, Patriarch Panda, saying out. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, check out the membership, check out the kofi, all that stuff as it helps support me. And let me know who you think I should do in the next Grappler video. And I do have a couple in my mind right now that I want to cover, but again, I want to hear suggestions. I'm always open-minded. I heard a couple that people told me from games I've never heard of, and I was like, I might do that. I was looking them up, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. It's worth looking into, but I don't know. I'm going to have to take some time out for sure. Hope you guys enjoy. And I also get back to doing some Striver 2X stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed and all that, and I'll catch you in the next video. And head on over to the church. See ya.